And greetings, everyone. This is your favorite free grace heretic, Kurt here, coming live and just taking a few minutes here. I'm not really doing a walk today, but I put walk so that you know that it's my little more of short thing, what I'm thinking about and stuff like that. And I put on my title, Heavy Resistant Bands. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about music here. I'm actually talking about exercise. One of the things that growing up, I will admit, when it came to weightlifting and stuff like that, I never really got into. What happened was is if what happened was is that if we would do like in PE and stuff, 2 weeks, and then do something else 2 weeks. So they went ahead and they basically had us do weightlifting for 2 weeks. I've never lifted weights in my life. I wasn't even coming close because I was overweight, even as a teenager and stuff like that. And then they're expecting me to lift so much weight, and I don't even do that in the practice thing. I'm like 30 pounds less, 40 pounds less than what they're saying I should lift. Well, I basically told the teacher I'm not going to do it. I've not done it before. I'm not going to try it. Even trying to do that, the weight, I couldn't even get up that high, even when I try to do some extra weight and things like that. Well, that put kind of a hindrance, and then not having the ability to do actually regular weights and stuff. I would go into the gym, do about, and then I quit. So when it came to regular weights, I had issues and stuff of dealing with. But I came across probably several years ago, and there's been issues on and off where I had to stop and get going. One was dealing with my back, where I with the accident I got into, and so I was like a year and a half before I can even get started, and I started back at the very beginning. So what happened was I went ahead and looked in, and I found out about heavy resistant bands. Now, I'm not talking about the typical bands where you're doing with the very light that you see medical doctors do for helping to get muscle back and to get things stabilized and stuff like that. I'm talking heavy. In other words, giving resistance of 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 plus pounds, and dealing with. And so in doing that, I got started on that. And that's one of the things that I've actually come to enjoy doing. I look forward to dealing with this and stuff. So let me go ahead and kind of show the thing here. Let me see if I can, but hopefully it's showing. But what I have here is my workout thing. The top part is for upper body. My bottom part is for lower body. And what happens is I alternate days. I try to do 6 days a week. Can't always do that. One of the problems is I do have autoimmune issues. So sometimes my body gets too fatigued, and the autoimmune issues go a little bit awry. And so I need to get extra day. This happened last Monday. And let me tell you, I felt it's Sunday where I was like struggling. Monday, my body said, nope, no exercising. You're not going to do anything like that. And so I took my off, and then also my normal Tuesday off and dealing with. And so I've learned that, okay, I can do 6 days, but when my body says no, things like that. Another thing I've learned in doing this is that I want to start my days, my first day off doing leg day, my lower body. The reason why is because that's where a lot of the things are that help with keeping your stability, your health, and things like that. Because keeping the muscles and everything, if you fall, your body is ready where especially when you get older like I am. And I'm not even to the age where I have to so much worry about this, but I maybe in about 10 years, 15 years, where you fall, you hear someone who breaks their hip, and within 6 months to a year, they've passed away. Well, that has a lot to do with one's strength in your lower body. And so, in dealing with stuff like that, I'm really, as I'm getting older and things like that, I'm only 55, but still, as getting older, I'm looking into and saying, hey, I need to prep for as I'm getting older and stuff. And doing heavy resistant bands has been one of those things that have really impacted my life, because one of the things about heavy resistant bands is that it doesn't do the injuries that regular weights can do because of how it structures and works, but it still strengthens the body. So what I want to do is I want to go through, show you some of the stuff I have, because I actually have quite a bit when it comes to the heavy resistance stuff. First of all, let's start off with one type of bands. These are my 32-inch bands. Let me show you there. Now, this is these bands here, being 32 inches and all. There are certain exercises that I can't have the longer bands. I need shorter to be able to do those exercises. So that's why I have the 32. And even with doubling them up, and when I say doubling is like taking the one end, put it to the other end, so you've now made it shorter. I need those shorter bands to be able to do some of this stuff. So I've done that. Another thing that I have is in here, I have a lot of tie downs. Now, what I do with the tie downs is that is a help that I do where I'm using to lengthen between the resistant bands and the bars I use, or the different things I use, for the simple reason is sometimes the bands are still too short. But by adding it, it's giving me the right thing so I can have the right posture and everything and do those exercises correctly. Because it doesn't matter. When you're doing exercises and stuff, form is key. You've got to be making sure you're doing it properly. Otherwise, you will hurt yourself. That's just the reality. So I do want to encourage, if you do get into resistant bands, if you get in weightlifting or some of these other things, whatever it might be, form is very important. Even like with swimming, running, all that stuff. Form is the most important thing, because when you get tired, your form goes out, and that's when you can get hurt. You don't get the gains because you're not really focusing in on properly doing things. So do want to encourage that if you, for those that are looking into maybe something like this. Now, another thing that I have here, let me put it this way. If you notice, I got different bars, and there's another one here. The first top bars that I'm showing was that the first top bars were my original bars. One bar was, let me bring it out here. One bar that I have here, it had these hooks on the end, carabiners type things, and I got that one because it was very cheap, and I think it was like 24 bucks. But I wanted to see if I was going to be serious about that, because I bought a cheap bar, I bought cheap bands, and I said, will I become serious about that? Well, I kept going and things like that. So I went ahead and I decided, okay, I want to get more like the regular X3, Harambe, things like that. Now, Harambe's a little bit different, but it's still, but getting ones with hooks on it. Now, I didn't want to buy the X3 or the Harambe. They just cost too much. And there are ways to go around where you don't have to spend that much for their actual systems, but it's not that I don't buy them. But like I said, that they do that. But the problem is like this one here, if you notice, let me make sure it's there. It's got frayed, because again, it's this material, and the material even started with fraying and other things was starting to rip. And that happened actually pretty quickly. So I said, okay, then what I need to do is I need to move to a more serious bar. In doing that, I didn't want to spend for the whole system of X3, because that was like $550 and dealing with. And then if you get around Christmas, you can get it for $350. But there was another bar out there. I think it's called the Easy Bar. It's actually from Europe. It's a little bit heavier and stuff, but this bar is actually a very solid bar. Now, on the ends, it does have the hooks, and it does allow you to spin. Okay, I tried to show it, but I can't do it. I need an extra hand here. But this has been one of the key bars that I've used in starting with and going to a major thing. Now, one of the things I do like about this is that the hook part, there's a section you can take the screw out, do that, and then I have extra ones. So if something happens to the hook, I can replace it with other hooks, where the X3 you cannot do that with. Well, as I kept going on and I realized, okay, it's good to have the basics and stuff like that, because that's what this was doing. Then I moved up to another bar, and that it's the Easy Curl Bar. Let me do it this way. I try to, but the Easy Curl Bar. And that's about a 28-inch bar. It has the curls in it and all. And of course, I used it for multiple type things and stuff like that. So added that in to just have that extra and that extra weight and things like that. Because I'm realizing, okay, I'm 6'2", 6'1", 6'2", and the reality is I get to places where there's no tension. So I need to have this still extra weight when I'm dealing with releasing the tension on the band. And so I went ahead and I got that. Then what I've done also is if you notice, I have here the, these are basically the leg and arm straps that you can do to do hook-ons and things like that. You also have an extension here with a nice hook and all that I've received. You also have handles. I got the rubber type and also metal in doing this. Now, what I've also do is I also use these simple sliders for when you're dealing with what is it? Moving furniture. But what I do is I add it in where I'm actually pushing out on the black bands. These are like, I think, what was it, 175 pounds? Let me double check here. Or is it 200? No, the black is 150 pounds when dealing with that, going to the full extent. And what that does is I get it hooked onto the door, and I put my back to the door, and I go ahead and I put it on my feet, and I push out. So you know how you do a leg machine? Well, I'm using bands to do it that way. So I've added in those type of things. Now, one of the other things that you need, and let me share this, is a platform. Because what happens is as you get heavier and heavier and heavier, your ankles cannot handle it. So I've gotten this platform. This one actually is from Harambee. It's their Gorilla platform. Now they have a newer one, but this is their short platform. When I first actually started, I made my own platform. I took a what is it, 3/4 inch cutting board, and showing here. And then I actually screwed on hockey pucks, and that made for an excellent platform in dealing with. But I went ahead and I got the smaller one because I will admit, I actually like the smaller one sometimes. So again, I do have both to work with and deal with. So that's dealing with there. Like I said, I also have bought, like I said, I still use the carabiners. I use handles. The handles are actually a newer thing. I just added that in to expand out what I can do. Now, one of the other bars I bought, let me bring it over so it's a lot clearer and all. This bar here is a very interesting bar. See, what I did is I bought a 4-foot Olympian bar with 2-inch and then 1-inch where you hold on to. I then bought these right here, which are hooks that go on. And then I have right now currently 2 5-pound weights on. And then, of course, I have the thing to stop it. So, because I have to have something so it don't fall off, because, again, when bringing it up and things like that, I'm by myself, and I still attach what is it? I still attach a resistant band to the hook, so you don't always get it even. So you have to have something to keep the weight on. So that's what I'm doing there. And then on top of that, I do have a squat belt. This one here, basically it has the hook. Let me show the hook here. And you can hook it in, you put it around your waist, and you can do squats and do both the weight or the bar and the squat. And then I have, and hopefully you start seeing, these are my 42-inch bands. These are my main bands that I use. And most of them, a lot of them I double up. Sometimes I have to do single, depending on what I'm doing and stuff. But when you get to the end band, this black band is 400 pounds resistance. And yes, I do use that. I do this for my shoulder shrugs and my calf raises. This gray one here is 300 pounds. This other gray one I have, and I'm not using this one at this time because of where I'm at and stuff. This gray one here is 250. Then I have my orange ones, which are 230. Now, if you notice, I have one with a green on it because I needed that. I have this, and this is the one I mostly use because I had to add extra weight to the 230 or resistance because it was too easy to do just at the 230. Then I have my 220s, 175s, 135s, and then it, like I said, goes down and stuff like that. So that's part of the resistance. Then I also have even smaller cloth bands here. That's more for helping with legs, posture, other things like that. And then if you notice, I also have jump ropes, even a large jump rope, which could also be used as a battle rope. And then, of course, I have my weight belt, because some of the stuff, especially when I get real high, I want to protect my back and doing. And then also, I do have a trampoline. So these are some of the things that I've gotten into and working on and stuff like that. I don't do the trampoline as much as I used to, but I do have it, and occasionally we'll pull it out and have some fun with it and things like that. So I just wanted to share. This is one of the things, I know that I do the walks, but the heavy resistance is my main thing. So if I can't get the walks in, I'm making sure I'm doing this. Now, I try to do 6 days a week. What it is like I said, I try first, and I've learned to do my lower body. The next day I do my upper body. That gives it basically 48 hours for the lower body to rest. So the next day I do my upper body. Then I give my upper body 48 hours. So the next day after that, I do my lower body and so forth. But when my autoimmune system kicks in and I overdo myself, because that's what happens with autoimmune, you get tired and you can go a while before your autoimmune might kick in and stuff. But it still is there. You might have it in more of a reserve, under control, things like that, but it's still there. And you can overdo on your body to where your body says, I'm exhausted. That's basically what happened last Monday to me. Sunday, I was really struggling and stuff like that. Didn't really get into everything I would normally do. I did all the stuff, but not the amount of reps, because I go to exhaustion on the reps or until I can't do anymore and things like that. That's one of the other things with heavy resistant bands. It really works all aspects of the muscle. And in dealing with that, I had to say, okay, I need to stop. So I had 2 days off, and then today I went ahead in, which I consider today more my starting time, because again, I go straight through. I started with my legs. Now, I haven't been doing that before, but it just finally realized on me, I need to work my legs. So make sure that I'm getting like 3 days of legs in. And if I have to skip one of the days, let it be the upper body. Now, I know with guys, a lot of the guys like to do the upper body thing because, again, it's the aesthetic, it's the look and things like that. And let's face it, leg day is hard. It's a lot harder than the upper. It's a lot more grueling and all. But the reality is everything I've read and I've heard from experts is that working the legs are more important for your overall health and other things like that. So I've really switched over to where I'm going to make sure I do 3 legs. And if I have to cut out one, it's going to be the upper body. And I just do 2 upper body and things like that. That I just wanted to share some of that with you because, again, this is one of the things I like to do is heavy resistant bands. If I would have started in on resistant bands when I was a teenager, I would have loved doing those type of things. But because I enjoy heavy resistant bands, I don't enjoy doing actual weights. I mean, the weight machines, the other things, of course, I don't really see much gains from those either. That was the other problem. I didn't see much that came from them. But when it came to the heavy resistance bands, I do see gains. I see my strength increasing. And then I also, just to let you know, I bought one of those full body scanners, the one where you also have the handle. And it actually helps me out knowing different quadrants of my body and what's strong and where's the strength level and stuff is. And what was happening is my left side sometimes is always a little bit lower, not anything to worry about. But in this case, it was 0.10. So like, now if it was 1%, then that's something to worry about. Or actually, no, they say 10% difference between each side. But mine was 0.10 or where a difference. So what I did is I focused a lot more on my left side, and now I'm 0.02% difference. So having stuff like that really helps out in knowing what to aim for, what to deal with, and stuff like that. So in doing that, I just wanted to share the fact of one of the things that I really enjoy doing and is doing the heavy resistant bands. I don't go to the gym. I work within my area here. And it's a small area. I'm in a 1-bedroom apartment. There's not a whole lot of room, but it's enough room to do what I need to do with the heavy resistance. And just the last thing, what I've done is I've also, let's see, here we go. If you notice, there's hooks, and these goes on your wrist, and they help to hold the bar. So when I'm dealing with really, you're a lot more heavier weight, such as I said, I'm dealing with over 800 pounds of resistance when I'm doing shoulder shrugs and calf raises. I utilize those to help. So, because otherwise I would not be able to do as much, because my grip gives out before my ability gives out in my legs and my shoulders. But with having this, I'm able to do those extras and to keep going. So I went ahead and got that. I got 2 forms. I got a narrow one, which I showed you here. See, it's a narrow one. And then another one is a long one. Let me get this. Okay, so in dealing with the long one, as you know, with the narrow, I can fit my full fist, and it goes on the edges, where on the narrow one, it goes between the fingers. And there's certain exercises, especially when I do my pull downs, kind of like doing a pull up, but instead I'm taking resistance and I'm pulling it down. I like the narrow, or I actually like the longer ones. But when I do like bent over rows and the calf raises, shoulder squats, I like the narrow ones because of how it feels and stuff. So you get to have some fun with differences and things like that. But again, you want to make it fun. You want to make it exciting. You want to and do it. Now, is it consistently a lot of the same stuff? Yes. But you still want to make it fun, because let's face it, exercise is hard. It's difficult. It's still monotonous, because again, you're doing kind of the same things. But if you add these little things in and you're making it fun, you stay consistent. It helps you stay consistent and all. Now, let's face it, it still takes a mentality to say, I'm going to do it. And the other thing is leaving on this one, is that when you start getting into exercise, your body now starts craving it. And it enjoys the fact that you're giving it exercise. You're doing these type of things. Because I think, again, our body is made to move, to do things, to be strengthened, and not to just to be laying on the couch and sediment and all that. But again, so I look forward to doing the exercises. And I will admit, when it comes to the upper bodies, I won't say it's always with the lower body, because the lower body is a lot harder. But with the upper body, you know, you sometimes just want that pump. And you know, that you've really done a workout, you can really feel it, stuff like that. And what happens is sometimes through the first time you don't get it. And if you're on a day that you really want, I go through a second time on the upper body. But the reality is I'm still getting a good exercise with the first, and a lot of times I only have to do it one time. I don't do, but again, I do anywhere between 15 and 40 reps, depending on where I am at that resistant level and stuff, and I keep growing. So that's one of the things that I've been doing in that of exercising. I bring this out because, again, the scripture does say that bodily exercise profits a little. Again, spiritual exercise is more important, but bodily exercise does give little profit. But it still is giving profit. So I want that profit. Yeah, I'm greedy. I want the profit. So it's just a realization that exercising, doing something to help build your muscles, help lose the fat, help keep you in shape, especially as you get older and stuff like that. It's a necessary thing. And I believe that God has made it. Again, part of the thing is man is made to be also to work. Remember, a man worked in the garden. We work after. Now it's a little bit harder, sweating, stuff like that. And exercise can be a part of that work of keeping your body healthy. Because, again, if your body is not healthy, it can affect other areas, especially your spiritual life. So that's another thing I realized is I'm trying to help with my physical body because I do have this world's ailments. And I am looking forward to the resurrection, or when I die, get rid of this body. I'm looking for the resurrection or the rapture of my body where I have the new immortal, pure 100% body that doesn't have all these human issues and stuff. But as Paul says, for me to be here is gain for you all. And that's I understand what Paul is saying. There's the thing. I want to stay here. I enjoy life. I enjoy that. But I am also looking forward to the day when the Lord says it's time to come home. So I'm in between those twicks of saying, yeah, I want to be here. I want to be doing the ministry. I want to be doing all these other things. I enjoy my life and stuff. But at the same time, I want to be home with the Lord. I want to be done with the weariness of this life and stuff like that. So that's part of the thing that is taking place. Let's see. I do see, got some people in the chat, so let me first recognize that. Do want to let you know when you see the greetings all and my fellow heretics, and it says that it's under the Layman Seminary and Janet. That's because I did it through the StreamYard chat, and it only comes up with their names depending on what it's going to. So just to let you know, but it is actually me. Let's see, Buhe, yeah, and if I messed up your name, I do apologize. Cristiano, glad to have you listening in. Yep, he says, greetings all my fellow heretics. And then looks like Janet, nope, that was her thing. And then Isaac, 19 August, glad to have you. And you said, I usually think of the body is the temple. Do apologize. I'm trying to, is the temple of God, I believe, in order to force myself to go outside and exercise. Yeah, sometimes you have to force yourself. I completely agree. There are times you're like, but I'm not in a literal way where my physical body won't do it. So you have to force yourself. And sometimes, but once you get started, you're glad for that. That's one of the things. I'm glad when I get started. I may have to sometimes force it, but then I'm getting, and then in the afterwards, I'm like, I am so thankful, Lord, that I was able to get this exercise in. But each of us are different, and there are different things that we need to do to motivate and to do these things. Remember, bodily exercise gives little profit, but it's still profit. So that's why I wanted to encourage, think about ways that you can exercise, whether it be going for it. Now, again, it may not be heavy resistant bands. It may just be like what I do a lot where I go walking also. It may be some other form. One of the things I enjoyed doing when I was a lot younger was swimming. Now, I still like swimming, but I don't get to the places very often because one is the pool that we have at my apartment complex here is really small, so it's not a great swimming thing. Then on top of it, you have a lot of kids in there, so as a 55-year-old guy, I'm not really wanting to be in a pool with a bunch of young kids, and they make an accusation, and I get in trouble when I didn't do anything. You just don't know. Then, even though I'm next to the beach, I don't care for swimming in salt water. I never have. I like fresh water. So I haven't really done a whole lot of swimming and stuff lately, but if I was able to, I would be adding in swimming also because I do enjoy swimming. But since I can't do some of those things, I went ahead in and I started with the heavy resistant bands. One of the other things I liked was bike riding, bicycle bicycle riding. But with doing my knee has become a lot more of a problem. And I just haven't bought a new bike. Plus, trying to find a place for it is a difficulty in a one-bedroom apartment and things like that. So, but if I did buy a bike, it would be one of those electric assist bikes because, again, to help with my knee. Because my brother had actually two electric assist bikes because he actually does triathlons and he bikes a lot too. So he has multiple bikes. And I was up there visiting. So we went on a bike ride and I was doing the electric assist. And I went 22 miles and no issue with my knee at all, with having that assistance and not putting that all that pressure and things like that on. So, but again, I just haven't taken the time because, again, not really having the space, where to put it, stuff like that. There's a lot of those type of issues with living in a one-bedroom apartment and stuff. But anyways, wanted to share about my some of the things that I do for getting exercise, helping with the bodily part of my existence here, not just the spiritual, because you see me doing the programs and things, so you see a lot of the spiritual side. But I wanted to show you another part of my physical side, and that of trying to get in shape, because I'm not fully there yet. I'm not one of these real huge buff persons and stuff. I look huge, but technically I'm not. I'm not all that strong and things, and I'm constantly working at it. Now I'm getting stronger and stuff. Don't get me wrong. I'm a lot stronger than what I used to, but I'm still not where I want to be either. And then, as I have a shirt, it says, "My stomach is flat and the L is silent." So I'm still trying to get my stomach to be a lot flatter than what it is, but it's getting there. But again, I have still areas of improvement. Okay. Josiah, glad to have you here. Yes, Jesus loves you, and Jesus loves you too. Thank you very much. So, went longer than what I figured, but that's how it is. I'm more of a teacher preacher type person, so I talk and talk and talk. So, thank you for listening. If you haven't yet, go out and do something. Whether it be go for a walk, a run, riding a bike, boxing, karate, or some other type of martial arts. There's so many ways to go out and work on getting doing a little bit of exercise and getting yourself, at least helping your body to be healthier, so you can have that little profit, which is still profit. So thank you for listening. Have a wonderful day and see ya.